How's the sound now? Is it the same? Oh, it's working now? Okay, well, maybe it was my mic. How strange. Okay, I'm just going to take the mic off and we'll just go without the mic today. It was working earlier today, so, oh, well, I'm so glad that it's working better. Okay, strange, strange, strange. All right, so you missed all the announcements. What am I going to do? Yeah, who knows of what you missed. So the host special ends in 4 days. My landscape scenes class RSVP deadline ends in 4 days. If you want a materials kit, if you want to just do one of the electronic only options, you have until the 22nd of June to sign up for it. And the live online class is on June 25th. But if you can't attend that date, don't let that stop you from signing up, because you can always watch the replay of my technique classes. All right, so what else have I missed? Okay, so we have a winner of last week's drawing, and those of you who participated used the hashtag SSS in colors, and that was to get entered into the drawing for last week's, or this month's, I should say, Simple Sweet Stampers tutorial bundle. So the winner is, and I don't know if I've seen her name, I don't know that I have, but hopefully she's gonna hear this or see it in my newsletter. The winner is Anne O'Neill. Anne, are you out there? Comment if you're out there. I hope you are. All right. So yeah, so that's the announcement. And then for this week's giveaway, I am going to give away one of the live only classes for the landscape scenes class. So comment with the hashtag landscape scenes, and that will tell me that you'd like to be entered into that drawing. I will also enter you if you share or tag someone today. You share the post and tag somebody. And that's the same goes for on YouTube, right? So if you use that hashtag on YouTube, or you share, or you tag, or you shared somewhere, you let me know where you shared it, I will include you in that drawing as well. So again, hashtag landscape scenes for the class entry. All right, let's go ahead and move along to the project for today. So I'm going to go ahead and face the camera down and show you the products that I'm using. We'll go ahead and get started. All right, so you guys know the January to June mini catalog is retiring as of the end of June, so the last chance list is out, and there's a lot of items on there that are 50% off, which is really pretty cool. And the product that I'm using today is actually, there's a bundle, so I'm using the Floating and Fluttering stamp set, which has a set of dies that go with it. The dies are pictured right there. These dies are actually 50% off. Hi, Shelly. Good to see you. Hi, Roseanne. I know I haven't been saying hi to anybody, but I apologize. I just got distracted with the sound issues. Okay, well, anyway, so this is what I'm using today. But if you decide you're interested in this as a bundle, don't buy it as a bundle, because right now you can get the dies at 50% off. And I'm pretty sure that's going to be a much better discount than getting them together as the bundle. That's still a retiring item on the list, though. So this has been in my newsletter the last couple of weeks, and it's yeah, I guess, yeah, and it's on my website as well, and each of my blog posts as well. So make sure to check that out. Don't miss out on things that are going away. All right, so now this is a fun fold that we're doing, but I'm going to actually start with showing you some of the card salad pieces that I made, and tell you a little bit of how I did them. I'm not going to tell you everything because it was part of the Maker's Mojo event. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I'm planning the next Maker's Mojo event, and that is scheduled for July 17th. I'm still finalizing some presenters, so I'm not going to say too much more about it now, but I'm super excited about it. Okay, so let's just start. So here's my piece of paper, and I've done something to this. I'm going to explain what I did to it just ever so a little bit. But what I'm going to first do is just use some ink on this. And I'm going to start with some of my purples, so Highland Heather and Gorgeous Scrape. And I'm going to go ahead and start with my Highland Heather. And it's going to be kind of a surprise what we see. So kind of fun. I hope you'll think it's fun. And for anybody out there who watched, who participated in the Maker's Mojo event in January, you might recognize some of this. So we had something, what I called a technique tornado at the Maker's Mojo event. Do I have this right side up? No, I haven't. I'm working on the wrong side. So let's work on the right side here. Okay, so you can see what's happening here. There's a texture in the paper. So I'm going to just bring this Highland Heather all the way to the center of my paper, and you can start seeing this image come to life in there. So some of you may recognize or have some idea what this is. What I showed during my technique tornado was something called the wax paper resist. So you basically use wax paper to create an impression on your paper, and the wax, some of the wax appears where the shape was, and then it acts as a resist for the ink. So what I'm doing now is my gorgeous scrape. And I did a whole bunch of these backgrounds because the idea was just to kind of show a whole bunch of different ways to do the technique and get different results. So we're just going to use a few of them today. So now I got some of my dark green, some of my dark purple, some of my light purple, the gorgeous grape and Highland Heather. And now I'm going to bring in Misty Moonlight. Now I don't know if you noticed, but this is not a shirt I usually wear on these, but it looks like Misty Moonlight. My daughter bought me this shirt, and I couldn't help but wear it tonight because I'm using Misty Moonlight. All right, so we're going to take some of the Misty Moonlight, and I always like to have some darker color along the edge, fading into lighter color. So if you do not know how to do the wax paper resist technique, I'm sure you can do a search on YouTube and find some information about it. You won't necessarily see all the amazing different options that I shared, because I'm only going to show you a few today. I have to tease you because, you know, that content was for those people who attended. But I have all these backgrounds that have to get used, darn it. Okay, so we're going to just a little more blue in the center, and then I want it darker on the edge. Now, when I did my original ones of this color scheme, I also used the Seaside Spray, which of course retired with the last the annual catalog that just went away. I loved that color. So I am just making do and doing a lighter shade of the Misty Moonlight on here. I want that to be kind of blended in the middle. Okay, so does anybody recognize this shape here? It's a little bit more modeled than it might normally be in the way you might used to seeing it. But comment if you know what that shape is. I'll explain in just a minute if nobody catches that, because it might not be totally obvious. All right. So I'm watching for comments. Don't see anybody yet. Okay, so this is created with the Ornate Floral Embossing Folder. So do you recognize the shape? It doesn't give you like the crisp necessarily pattern of the embossing folder, but it does give you some of those elements in there, right? So it's a little bit more muted, if you will, as far as the shapes are concerned, but it's a really fun thing to play with. So wax paper in here and then on your paper, and then there was a little heat applied in the mix, and that's all I'm going to say. So I'm going to show you a few other things that I have done with that technique. So you can also take wax paper and not use an embossing folder, but just crumple up a piece of wax paper and put it on your paper. So this is done with just crumpled up wax paper, same colors, except for, of course, that Seaside Spray in the mix. And this one was done with I think I wrote the colors on the back, Seaside Spray and Mint Macaron. This is a retired embossing folder. Lovely background, right, that I have to do something with, that I must do something with. Here's another one. This was done with also with the Ornate Floral embossing folder, and I masked to make sure that my dragonflies stayed white and sponged around it, so that was kind of fun, just playing. And I did one other. that I'm going to actually experiment with some stamping on, and that's this one. Completely different color scheme, of course, but in this case I folded up my wax paper to get this really fun little sunburst here. So this is about half of the different patterns that I created in that event. So you're getting a little smattering of a few of them. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to do some stamping with some of the butterflies in the Floating and Fluttering set. So again, that's the one that we're using, and you can see that that image is it's one stamp, the whole thing, and then all the little pieces you can stamp and superimpose over the top. Here's a card that I actually made with that, and it's die cut. That whole piece is die cut. So here's the set of dies in real life. So this piece cuts out that whole element there, and it's laid on top right there, and then I stamped over it with the images in the set. So that's just a sample, another thing that you can do. If you watch me often, you might have seen me make that sample here in Facebook Live, because I did do it here on Facebook. Okay, so I'm grabbing my Memento black ink. You guys know I prefer StazOn, but when you use your photopolymer stamps, you don't really want to use StazOn because it will permanently stain them, and then they're no longer see-through, and that kind of defeats the purpose. So just going to ink this up. And I'm going to do one of these. Let's see. I think I'm going to go ahead and try this one. And I want it to be at a bit of an angle. So is anybody out there watching the Olympic trials? The last few nights we've been watching the diving, the men's and women's diving, and it's just, oh my gosh, it's phenomenal. Of course, I get kind of a little taste of vertigo whenever I watch them at the end of the diving board, because I got a little bit of a fear of heights going. But it's just crazy. And then some of them will do a handstand on the edge of the board. It's like, oh my gosh, it's just nuts what they can do, and so impressive. So you can see I just stamped a little extra butterfly up in the upper right hand corner on that. So I'm keeping this pretty simple, and then I'm gonna do one other thing. Okay, so I got, two variations here. I got one card I'm gonna finish, but before I do that, I have to come in and show you this, because I've been dying to use this stamp, and I had this idea that it would look super pretty on this one, and so there's like a card in my future. Hi, Diane from Sydney. Hi, B. Glad to have you here. Well, you missed the mess with the sound. Anybody who came in late because it wasn't working. So I'm glad you missed it. At least that part. All right. I really want to do this with my StazOn. Hold on a sec, I gotta find one. So I've got my my daisy stamp. Where's that stamp? It's one image, the whole thing. I absolutely fell in love with this the second I saw it in the catalog. One of those things where I just had to have it. And this, of course, is a red rubber stamp, so I can use my StazOn on it. Makes me happy, as you know. And getting it well inked is so important to make sure that you get a good image. So what I have found when I stamp on these backgrounds is it's kind of a balance between how heavy the image is and how intense the background is, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So I'm really hoping that this works, because I love this image and I love the background. So I've kind of figured out my spacing for the paper so that I can get it on there where I want it. And you know I'm going to finish this and I'm going to be like, oh, I have to make a card with this now, assuming I like it. My sound is gone again? Oh, I hope not. Oh my gosh! Guess who loves it? Oh my goodness gracious. Is that pretty or what? That's going to have to be a card. I don't know. What do you guys think? Are you not hearing me? This is going to make me crazy. Communication problems. All right. Okay, I'm taking that away. This is food for thought. Just a fun way to use the background. Okay, good. You can hear me, Pam. I'm glad to hear it. I'm going to set that aside. That is, likely going to have to turn into a card, most likely of the same layout that I'm doing here. But let's go ahead and show you how the card comes together. So what I've got is a card base that is a 4 1/4 by 11 right here. And I'm going to score it at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2. Super simple. And I got my bone folder, and I'm just going to fold it over on itself like I would fold it shut like a normal card. And then I'm just going to fold this top piece back. So it's like that. And then I'm just going to take some of my liquid glue and let's see. It's going to be, no, I'm doing it backwards. I take it back. It is, you fold it in like that, so it's standing up like that. All right, so now I'm going to put my white glue over this one panel. Multi-purpose liquid glue, one of my latest favorites, it seems. I keep using it. And then I'm just going to take this piece of Misty Moonlight that is a full quarter sheet, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and placing it right over the top. And it's just going to glue down onto that front panel. And this is just an easy way to do it because you know that when it's shut, this is how it's going to attach and fit in there. So that's your basic mechanism, just attached to that one panel. All right, so let's set that aside for a second. We'll grab our butterflies, and I've got a piece of black cardstock that I'm going to attach to the front of my card. Got adhesive on the back of it already. These easel cards are really pretty simple to make, but just really fun because they stand up, you'll see when I finish at the end. So who wants to see a card made with my daisies? Anybody? Anybody in love with that like I am? So I'm dying to use the old stuff, right? The things that are retiring. But then I'm also dying to use the new things. So this is a perfect combination, right? I get to do a little bit of what's retiring and a little bit of what's new. All right, so we got that set. Now I've got a couple of additional layers. Now for an easel card, you always need a bit of a bumper. So I have this piece of black is going to be my bumper. I've put a piece of adhesive sheet on the back, so it comes like this. You get a set of 6 of them when you buy them, and I just cut it down, and this is the perfect application for it because you know it's going to just stay up and be really sturdy. And then I've taken that same embossing folder that I showed you before, Ornate Floral, and I've dry embossed this piece of Gorgeous Scrape cardstock. It's a really fun, happy pattern there. You want to see the card with daisies? Yes, I knew I could count on you, Lauralee. Yes, lots of people. I just need that little bit of push, motivate me to to do it. Doesn't take much. Okay, so I got this piece all set. And now I went into one of my little card salad stores, if you will, and I found this sentiment here that was heat embossed in white. And this works perfectly for what I wanted to do. So I'm using the Queen Anne's lace stamp set for this heat embossed piece. And of course, if you haven't heat embossed, well, I guess you just have to watch another video. But it's already done for me, so I'm going the easy way out. All right, now I'm also using this amazing, oh my gosh, this gorgeous ribbon. This was one of those items that I took out today, opened the package, and I kind of gasped because it's got just a really, really pretty shimmer to it. So I'm going to be using it on the bottom of my card. So I am going to just trim off a small piece of it. Grab some glue dots, and I'm going to wrap those around the back side. Now, hopefully this isn't too long to fit on. I might have to just trim off a little bit. We'll see. So I'm just going to take a little bit of a little glue dot on either end. Have you guys noticed this pretty ribbon in the catalog? I'm a sucker for purple, so for me, I saw it, and you know, the fact that it was shiny wasn't exactly the reason why I had to get it. I had to get it because it was purple. Okay, let's see. I got my glue dot in the right spot. I might have to put another one on the paper because it's overlapping the foam adhesive sheet. So pretty, right? Just love it. Love it, love it. And I'm going to trim off just a little bit of this so it doesn't get in the way. All right, there's that. I've got a couple dimensionals on the back side of my sentiment. I justified them towards the top so that they would be above the ribbon and wouldn't sort of be a little bit off balance height-wise. So that's just going to get attached to the bottom left. And then I'm going to actually do a little bit of die cutting. And just for fun, I'm bringing in my little itty bitty Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I just think this is the cutest little thing, so I'm looking for every opportunity to use it. And it works so well in a small space, doesn't take up my whole workspace. So I just got my layer 1, my layer 2, my cardstock, and then I just need my die. And on this one I'm using this die, the butterfly that actually embosses and cuts at the same time. Today's the first time I've used this, and it's really a lovely little die. And I'm just going to run it through. I've used 2 of these on my card, but I did one of them ahead of time. Okay, so there it is. Isn't that sweet? I love the texture on there. Put my die away. All right, this is all kind of going to come together shortly. And there's one other piece that's here somewhere on my table, and there it is. Got a few other pieces actually. All right, so let's go ahead, now that I think this is solid and glued. I didn't really want to mess with it until I knew it was attached. And now I'm going to attach this piece. And again, this is a bumper, so it has the raised up element to it so that it can have so the card can have something to bump into it and hold it up. So I'm just going to hold it open like that, and it's going to go here on the bottom. Now, when I was playing with this earlier today, when you take the backing off and you put it down on your paper, if you put it in the wrong place, there's no getting it up unless you use some undo or, something that will remove it. Believe me, because I tried. So I think the best way to do this is to only take off a little bit at a time. And that way you can sort of pull off the rest. You haven't committed to the whole thing. I'm kind of a stickler for making sure that it's centered and has the same edge on all sides. And sometimes it's just a little hard to tell until you have it down. So I've only taken off the backing of some. I think I got my position right. Better. And then I'm just going to pull it out. So that's my little foam adhesive sheet trick today, so you don't end up having your piece down where it doesn't belong. So now it's nice and centered, and that makes me happy. All right, so now I've got some other pieces to go on the inside. I felt like I needed a black layer to coordinate with the other black layer. This is going to be the backing to where you actually write a note on your card. And I got a white piece on top. And then there it is, it's standing up. So we're getting close, almost done. All right, so now I've got a Highland Heather butterfly that I'm just going to place down right here on the left. And then one other one, I'm going to put some layers of glue dots on the back to raise it up just a bit. And on the ones that I did, I didn't want it to be undimensional because I didn't want it to be so tall. But I am going to do 2 layers of glue dots. So altogether I'm using 4 glue dots, 2 of them next to each other, and then 2 more on top of those. And by doing it just in the center, of course, I can make the wings fly, which is always fun. And you might notice that I didn't get that fully inked on that one butterfly, but it's going to get covered up. So how convenient, right? That was the one that didn't get well enough inked. So there we go. And then I've got one last step, which I'm actually going to skip because I'm going to show you my finished project, which has the last step on it. It's a small little addition, but I have my rhinestones down the center of the 2 butterflies. So that's my finished card. So it shuts like that, and it stands up like that. And then you have a place on the inside to write something. What do you think? So now you can see the 2 different backgrounds. So this one is, of course, the wax paper resist with the crumpled up wax paper. And this is the one with my ornate floral. And sometimes they're going to come out a little bit different depending on how you do the techniques. You can see this is done with the same embossing folder as this one, but I got much more, much less of the pattern, shall we say, on this one than I did on this one. So it will turn out a little bit different each time. But it's just a fun way to get a nice texture in your background, and you can do it with all kinds of embossing folders or creating shapes by folding like I did, and it's super fun, the wax paper resist. I love my resists. All right, so there we go. I think I have to do them face down so you guys can see it. And yeah, and the easel is pretty easy to create. So, obviously the blue doesn't go with this, but I can just see it. And I can even see butterflies with this too, right? Wouldn't that be nice? So again, I had to show you something new too. Just for fun. Alrighty, I turn the camera around and a few quick reminders and let you go on with your merry way. So I didn't see, maybe now that I've got the camera face turned around, I can ask my question again about anybody watching the Olympics and the Olympic divers. Has anybody been doing that and just blown away and freaked out by the heights that they get to, that they dive from? It's crazy stuff. So impressive. So we're really excited for when the Olympics actually start. This is of course the Olympic trials, but just super fun aspect of the summer, especially now. So Alrighty, I guess quick reminders. Okay, so is anybody doing the hashtag landscape scenes? And if you want an entry for the free live online class on the 25th, you can also see the recorded video afterwards if you can't do it on the 25th. And let's see what else. Just reminders, right? So 4 more days for the host special, 4 more days to get a class kit with the landscape scenes class if you're interested in that one. And I'm probably forgetting something. Ask me questions if you have them. I feel like I'm just forgetting something. Yes, so anyway, you can comment again on YouTube or on Facebook on the replay or live. Hashtag landscape scenes if you're interested in getting that an opportunity to get entered for that free class. Okay, I guess we're pretty much done. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but hopefully you guys could hear most of what I said. Oh, Jan, you're freaked out with heights too? Yeah, I won't even do, like, don't even ask me to do, you know, what is it called? Well, certainly not, I mean, bungee jumping, no way. The one where you hang on a wire. You go across a big crevasse. No, that's never happening in my world. I don't even like to go down big slides. I'm a wimp in that way, but I will go on hikes that, you know, where, you know, you see a steep dive, but way, you know, steep whatever cliff, but no. Other than that, not me. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you for joining me, and feel free to comment after the live with the hashtag or anything else, comments, questions, requests. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next week. The blog post for this project will be up on Saturday, and the YouTube video, this video will go live on YouTube on Saturday as well. So have a wonderful weekend, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye.